The man was horrified to discover that he had been forgotten on Mars by humans for 108 days. In order to establish contact with Earth's Space Center, he went through countless hardships and finally found the Pathfinder, which was buried in a dust storm. It had been launched by scientists back in 1997 as a landing probe on Mars and was now abandoned in the sand. At the moment the short-haired man dug it out, the Earth Space Center staff detected abnormal signal fluctuations from Mars. At that point, no one on Earth had realized that the short-haired man had survived the massive storm more than 100 days ago. Curious, the staff redirected the camera in front of the man. Since Mars is 65 million kilometers away from Earth, data transmission takes more than 30 minutes. Knowing that people on Earth might be watching the man, quickly prepared a whiteboard. When the Earth staff received the image from Mars, they were shocked beyond words to see the message written by the man. He was still alive after more than 100 days of being lost. They began to communicate using hexadecimal code. The entire space agency followed this real-time conversation closely. But the man soon received bad news. He would have to survive on Mars for 4 more years until the next mission could bring him back to Earth. The space agency decided to first send him supplies via a rocket, which would take a year to prepare. Luckily, the man had already managed to grow crops on Mars, temporarily solving the food shortage. But then disaster struck. Due to a sudden pressure drop inside the habitat, a violent explosion occurred. The man was seriously injured and all of his crops were destroyed. Upon learning this, the space agency had no choice but to speed up the resupply mission, even launching an untested rocket. Unfortunately, the rocket exploded mid-air, failing to deliver the supplies. With no time left to build another rocket, the mission manager secretly contacted the astronauts who were on their way back from Mars. He told them the man was still alive. Learning that he had been abandoned, the captain and crew made a bold decision. They would defy orders and return to Mars to rescue him, even if it meant risking their own lives. After careful calculations by scientists, they realized the spaceship didn't have enough fuel to enter Mars orbit. The only option was for the man to use a Mars surface launch vehicle to reach the spaceship himself. But to do that, he had to reduce the weight by 5,000 kilograms. He stripped off the doors and windshields, turning the vehicle into a kind of convertible. It was a seemingly impossible mission. He could easily die before even lifting off due to atmospheric resistance. But it was his only chance. Under the eyes of the entire world, his teammates made their way to Mars orbit while the man flew into space in the stripped-down vehicle to complete an impossible rendezvous with the spaceship.